One of the best-known events in Delaware is back. Punkin Chunkin is coming, but there's some major changes. And can someone shoot a pumpkin a mile? This is the Delaware way. Punkin Chunkin is back. Welcome to the Delaware Way. I'm Larry Menti. It is an iconic Delaware event, and it's been on a hiatus for a couple of years, but finally it is going to happen again this fall. Frank Payton is the president of the Punkin Chunkin Association. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
On getting this back. It was interesting. We were just talking a second ago, and you said I'm either the guy that saved Punkin Chunkin or the guy that ruined Punkin Chunkin, depending on where you fall. Explain that statement.
Well, coming back after 2 years hiatus and everything, we had to really look at our event because there was obvious reasons why we couldn't have our event where we used to have it in Bridgefield, Delaware, Sussex County, the birthplace of Punkin Chunkin. So we looked at our event. One of the things that obviously stuck out there, and especially while I was going around to all the different counties in the area, because if we couldn't have it in Sussex County, we wanted to keep it on Delmarva. Number one topic that came up with every farmer that we approached that had enough land was, what are you going to do about the alcohol? You know, we were one of those last events that had no rules on alcohol. It was a BYOB, and it eventually became a free-for-all. In 2013, you know, with me being there inside of the pit area, looking outside, and just people with cases and beer and everything like that. So we had to really focus on how to moderate the alcohol consumption at Punkin Chunkin. And I think as a person that attends other events, you've seen this happen across the board. I mean, you just can't bring alcohol into the event like you used to be able to. So we looked at it, you know, we came up with the idea that we're still going to sell it. I mean, we can't have Punkin Chunkin without alcohol. I mean, it's just, we're in the middle of a field. What else do you do in the middle of a field other than shooting pumpkins? You want to have a nice beverage. So we will have a vendor on site that will be serving Bud, Coors, some microbreweries in the local area. And the great thing about it is all those proceeds go back.
Well, I don't understand then. You said the alcohol was the problem. We should point out that the Punkin Chunkin stopped after someone got injured.
Yeah, somebody got injured.
There's insurance problems.
And it was insurance issues. And working with the insurance company, we started about June of last year, and we came up with a policy that allowed us to go back to our roots.
But you're saying alcohol is one of the problems. Well, but I don't understand, if you're going to have alcohol there.
Right. It was the overconsumption of alcohol that was the problem.
How are you going to stop that?
Well, one of the rules this year is, as a general spectator, you're not allowed to bring your own alcohol. I mean, we would have people, you know, pulling into the general spectator parking lot, unloading their vehicle, and 2 30-packs in each hand walking in. And those 30-packs were destined for that individual. And it ended up being that individual that would be intoxicated out in public. And if we're going to survive it as an association, because of all of our nonprofit stuff that we do, we need to make sure farmers are willing to accept us. And that was the number one topic from a farmer, is what are you going to do about the alcohol?
Let's take a step back before I go forward to ask questions about what you just said. And for those who don't know, what is Punkin Chunkin?
Yeah, Punkin Chunkin started in 1986 in Sussex County, Delaware. It was a group of guys sitting around trying to come up with some manly competition to do amongst themselves. You know, one of them was John the blacksmith, and of course anvil throwing came up. And you know, as the story goes, you know, anvil's a little hard on your body at their age, so they decided, why not, you know, this thing, you know, pumpkin. So that became the first annual pumpkin toss, as it was known at that time, and eventually, you know, evolved into Punkin Chunkin. And from 1986, it was held on one of the founders, Broad Dog Thompson's property on Route 9, and Trey Melson and Chuck Burton and some of the original founders, you know, tossing them. And eventually it came out with, you know, contraptions such as trebuchets and catapults, and then Trey Melson, the forefather of air cannons, came out with air cannon and smoked everybody. And of course, and it just kept competition back and forth. And over the years, this is the 30th year, you know, that competition still goes to the point where, you know, back then, in 1987, we were probably shooting a pumpkin maybe 180 feet and becoming a world record holder.
Right. There's some silliness to it, no question.
Oh, yeah.
There's some silliness to it. You're smashing pumpkins, you're shooting pumpkins.
Yeah, but there's
also engineering, there's science, there's aerodynamics. You have to take all that into account, and everybody seems to have a background in some of that.
It's getting to that point. Right now, everybody's on a level playing field when it comes to this type of stuff. It's just who has the better engineering degree, the forethought, the design, and then eventually it comes down to, will this hold up among the stress that's being put onto it to try to get it out there the furthest. We have our coveted record. What we want to actually achieve is the holy grail of Punkin Chunkin is 5,280 feet, 1 mile. We have successfully, the best record we have to date is 4,680 feet from American Chunker Inc. out of New Hampshire. And that's where a lot of the engineering and everything and money was dumped into this machine, was able to pull that off in 2013. And there'll be a lot of people this year coming back November 4th, 5th, and 6th to try to take that record.
Everybody's talking about shooting a mile.
Everybody wants to shoot the mile.
And that hasn't happened yet?
That has not happened yet.
You think it'll happen this year?
We can only hope. I mean, the forces of Punkin Chunkin are always against you in November.
Is there an event around the event?
There is always an event around the event. I mean, the culture that comes out to Punkin Chunkin just to have a great time. I mean, that culture will be there no matter what kind of rules we make and everything. I mean, we have camping. You know, you can come and camp the entire weekend, and you're camping in the I like the emails where like, do you have electricity? Do you have facilities? No, we're in the middle of nowhere in a field to chunk pumpkins to raise money for other nonprofit groups.
I should point out also that Frank is wholly committed to smashing pumpkins, and the whole reason he brought this pumpkin is because he wanted to smash it in the studio, and it just wasn't allowed because we didn't want to clean it up, actually. So, but I'm sorry to disappoint you with that.
But it's okay, as long as it wasn't an insurance.
It's nice to see that you're committed to your craft.
Oh yes, I'm very committed to a craft. You know, my family's the third generation chunkers. My son and daughter, they're 8 and 6. They have their own siege machines. My daughter would be her first time competing this year in the 10 and under category.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we have 11 to 17, 10 and under, and we have the adult categories.
But so you're entered, right?
Well, my son and daughter and my father, they're competing this year. Obviously, my time and effort, it goes into making sure that this gets pulled off.
Who has the best chance of shooting a mile this year?
Best chance of shooting a mile, we got the local hopeful, Young Glory 3. That is Chuck Burton's son, Jake Burton. He's the second generation Punkin Chunker. Chuck Burton was one of the founders. We were very hopeful for him. We have the current world record holder, American Chunker. He's going to come back and he's going to hold on to every little bit he's got. But there's going to be some that, Old Glory has been a very popular machine. You could always want to take a look at that. But it's pretty much whoever has the right pumpkin will get the record. This association, which I think is very unique, is the fact that our entire association is ran by volunteers. There is not a paid person on our association. So every dollar that goes into this event goes to put on the event. Anything we have left over goes to charities or students for scholarships.
And if you bring alcohol, it'll be confiscated?
You'll just be asked to go put it back in your vehicle. No confiscated. We still want to have a great type of event and everything, but just because of the insurance and everything, we've had to make those types of rules.
Oh, I'm so glad you're back.
Yep.
It means a lot to the state. Frank Payton, the president of Punkin Chunkin Association, which is back this year. When we come back, some ideas. There's recently been a roundtable with 125 businesses who got together to talk about how to spur business in Delaware. We'll hear some of their ideas when the Delaware Way continues.